What up? On my way out of here, I'm on like last quarter of my second round, and it's day 31 of the year 2024 of No Excuses for 2024, the year of the Worrier. You know, what kind of warrior are you gonna be? You gonna be a worrier or a warrior? I'd rather be a warrior, right, than a worrier. I worried my whole life, right, because I wasn't doing shit. You know, I mean, don't get me wrong, I have, small concerns here and there, that I may or may not worry about. But I don't put all my energy into the worry about it, right? Again, like I said before, if I care about you and you're in my life, I only want to hear about your problem once, right? And then we can talk about solutions, especially if you're bringing some to the table, I can make some suggestions, but I can't keep going down that freaking trauma road with you that you want to relive over and over again, in that scenario is what I'm saying, I can't do it. I did it too long with myself, right? Self-victimization, the oh, woe is me, oh, you don't understand, I had it rough. Yeah, okay, now what, right? I made it rougher on myself, going in and out of lockup, in and out of drug addiction, in and out of alcohol abuse, in and out of fucked up relationships, in and out of fighting, in and out of, just all kinds of crazy stuff, stress with my family, stress with the law, stress with my community, putting all these stresses on myself because I didn't know how to say, it's been enough, time to move on. Stop victimizing yourself and make some strides towards a positive path in your life, I've accomplished quite a few things in my life, even when I was messed up, So I just know that today I give myself a chance. Not every day is super pleasant and wonderful all the time, but it's way closer now than it's ever been. I don't stress about a lot of things. I do think about things and, I try to work them out in my head and be like, okay, well, this is the issue. What can I do to solve this, right? What can I do to make today a success? And that's what I'm doing. I'm trying to, see, you do it all the time, right? It's that talking, it's that lexicon of try. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, but I didn't, so wham, right? No, we are the only ones that can get us through what we need to get through. Sure, I mean, you could have support from people, trusted person to talk to, a confidant type of thing, but be careful who you tell your problems to, right? Be careful who you tell your troubles to, because not everybody out there is looking for you to succeed. It took me a long time to realize that, that a lot of people that I was involved with were out for themselves, as I was. I used to say it all the time in my last several years of dope addiction, and someone would fuck me over, like, one of the people that I used like a long term, he just didn't come back with my money, call me next day, oh, I'm really sorry. I go, yeah, don't worry about it, there ain't no friends in the dope game. And that's the truth, we come into the world alone, we're gonna leave alone. It's who do you want to spend the time with while you're here, You want to spend time with people that are motivating you, that are making you a better person because you strive for greatness? Or do you want to be a person that does a status quo with all their friends and goes out drinking almost every night of the week and, maybe gets into these relationships, these codependent relationships or whatever it is, That's why I'm calling 2024, No Excuses for 2024, the year of the warrior, right? How are you going to mentally toughen yourself up? How are you going to physically toughen yourself up? How are you going to get that spirituality up? That spiritual toughness that, a lot of us strive to get to, right? And I'm not talking about the bullshit like, I'll punch you in the fucking face type shit. I mean, if you got to defend yourself, you got to defend yourself, But 99.99999% of the time, I could have walked away from most conflicts that I was getting into in my life, you know. Or I could have turned them around and maybe listen to that person, you know. Like today I try, it's hard because I talk a lot, obviously, right? And like, you know, I try to get out as much information as I can, but you know, I don't like having a conversation with people where I'm just waiting for my turn to respond, right? Like, you got to listen to people, and then you respond, you know, not with what you were already thinking, right? Like with the new information, maybe you respond with that, right? You know, we all evolve, we learn new things, and hopefully we learn new things and we change our behavior with the new lessons of life, right? Just because something goes badly or doesn't go your way, you know, there might be another reason for that, you know. And sure, you know, things are disappointing at times, you know, but are you going to let yourself get eaten up by that disappointment? You know, I let myself get eaten up by all that shit for so many years, you know. I wasted so much time. And again, you know, I did have a lot of successes and some fun along the way. A lot of fun. Too much fun. But, you know, there was all kinds of jackpots, you know. There was jail sentences, you know, multiple years. There was, you know, there was heartache. There was injuries, you know, violence, you know, warrants for all kinds of crazy shit, you know, all this chaos. And, you know, I always figured I thrived in the chaos, right? Just because I could roll with the punches of the chaos. But the small stuff, the little stuff, you know, the day-to-day stuff, that would send me through a tailspin, you know. My girlfriend said it to me the other day. She goes, you know, you're not a talker anymore. I mean, other than, you know, like this. But you know what I mean? Like I don't just talk the talk, you know. I now walk the walk. I make sure that I do what I feel, you know, is the next right thing on a daily basis. You know, what's going to keep me away from heroin, right? What's going to keep me from beating my girlfriend? What's going to keep me from treating my children like shit or abusing them in some way, shape, or form? You know, it doesn't even have to be physical abuse. You know, it could be mental abuse, control issues, all this stuff. You know, all that toxic shit that they say is toxic masculinity, which I told you before doesn't exist. There's toxic human traits for sure. Selfish, ego, you know, all this stuff, right? Embarrassment. You know, a lot of my life was filled or fueled by embarrassment. And instead of being embarrassed, you know, like being emotional where I grew up in the projects and stuff, you didn't want to show any tears. You didn't want to show any fears, right? You didn't want to be upset. You know, I mean, like, you know, emotional. The only emotion that was okay, the only response to when you were getting bullied or whatever the situation was anger and rage, right? And I grew up with that being accepted, right? It was accepted in my household. Like if I got into a beef outside, I'd come home and my stepfather Tony would be like, "Did you win? Did you win?" And I'd be like, you know, and I'm getting jumped by like 4 or 5 kids at a time, you know. I usually did okay when it was one-on-one. Usually, don't get me wrong, I did get my ass beat a few times. I wasn't the toughest kid in my neighborhood, but when I left my neighborhood, I was one of the toughest kids in the city. You know what I mean? Anyway, steel sharpens steel, right? But I'm just saying, you know, how do you want to walk around through life, you know? You got to make decisions sometimes a minute-to-minute basis, right? Especially in recovery and all kinds of recovery, right? And you want to become physically more, you know, enhanced or adapted to the world, you know. You want to be able to jog up a hill. You want to be able to go for a fucking 6-mile run or whatever it is, you know. Like, you got to start somewhere, you know. You want to be more caring to your family and your friends, you know. It's got to start somewhere, and it's going to start sometime, you know. And so that's why I'm saying no excuses for 2024, the year of the warrior, you know. Who do you want to go to war with, right? I go to war with myself, so I don't have to go to war with the world, you know. And the war, you know, it's more like a conflict now, you know. I don't have like all these, you know, negative emotions and this and that. You know, I feel good about myself. I feel good about my life. I feel good about my world. All right, everybody, this video's way too long. I'll talk to you later. Love you. Peace.